Good day to you one and all. It is I, Justin Hawkins, and welcome to Justin Hawkins Rides Again, the podcast. Today's episode tackles the issue of performance anxiety and embarrassment. Some people have actually told me that they think I'm immune to embarrassment. And if that's true, why is that? I can't be the only person that is like that, I think. Put your dignity to one side and just get the job done. That's what I always say. Anyway, Jenny May, my producer on the other hand, has crippling performance anxiety and finds it impossible to conquer it. I think I try and eke out a little bit of a performance during this episode, but you'll have to watch it to see how I get on. We also touch on the idea of cringe, taste, and there are some strange and unusual anecdotes in this episode. So again, apologies if these tangential trips are distracting for you guys, but they are there for a reason. Next week, I'll be interviewing frontman of Steel Panther, Michael Starr, so please, to enjoy. Again. Good day to you one and all. It is I, Justin Hawkins. I am joined by my producer, Jenny May Finn.
Hello. So
this is another one of those segments that we discussed, where we discuss stuff in a long form, format. What's it called again?
The Jaws of Victory.
Yeah, the Jaws of Victory.
Pitfalls of the music trade.
Okay, sorry, yeah. The Jaws of Victory. Pitfalls of the music trade. And what's the title of today's episode?
Performance, embarrassment and anxiety and narcissism and male vanity.
So today's episode is called Justin Hawkins Rides Again. The Jaws of Victory. Pitfalls of the music trade. What is it again? It's performance anxiety, embarrassment, narcissism, and everything that goes with it.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll call it that. Nice. All right, brilliant. I'll do this theme tune. Justin Hawkins Rides Again. Feel free to harmonise at any point. Again.
Should I have
you
like
nearly
a
did that, actually. Again. You give you that one.
No, I'm not going to start singing.
No, just do again.
It's funny because this is like really relevant to the topic of the thing.
Yeah, because you're embarrassed. Do it again.
Again. I didn't say anything.
Again, come on.
No.
It's all right. Plenty of time.
Again. Stop it. It makes me feel sick inside. I've never sung in front of anyone except when I was with Dan at Ed Sheeran and I could do my bad singing, remember?
I don't remember that, actually.
I was really good at doing like a really off harmony.
Well, that's a special talent, isn't it?
And he was like, this is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. And I was like, I know, I'm deliberately doing that. But he didn't know that.
But were you deliberately?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
I wasn't going to, otherwise I'd be embarrassed.
I feel a bit stiff in this jacket. I'm going to take it off. And display my new Joy Division t-shirt because I'm a Joy Division enthusiast. I love their music and also the message and the sentiment of the...
Oh yeah, is it dividing joy?
Yeah, because I think that joy should be divided and shared among all of us. That's what they're saying, isn't it? Anyway, let's just crack on. What's the what are we talking about again? Anxiety?
Well, no, embarrassment.
Embarrassment. I feel sorry for people that feel embarrassed.
Well, I feel embarrassed there.
You feel embarrassed now?
No, just a second ago.
When I was trying to get you to sing. Yeah,
because I like singing, but not when anyone's around.
So what's embarrassing about singing?
It's like there's like a stopper here and if I try to do it, I get worried that it will sound bad.
But don't you realise that when you worry about things sounding bad, they usually sound worse?
Yeah, and I know that, and then I'm like, I can't do it because you said you aren't fully immune to embarrassment, but Frankie thinks you are.
Yeah, Frankie thinks that I'm immune to embarrassment because I like stuff that pricks male vanity. Like when something I like to almost sabotage a gig so things go wrong. I like putting myself in situations where I'm at the very limit of my ability and trying to do things that I can't really do. And some days you pull them off, some days you don't. It doesn't matter to me. I just think it's my most important thing is the challenge of it, you know. So he thinks that, you know, like most people who are in sort of, I think, the public sphere, they'll do things that are within their comfort zone because they know they can pull them off, you know. And
well, yeah, it's like Rod Stewart when he got asked to sing Sweet Caroline. He was not happy about that.
Is that what he did at the Jubilee?
Yeah, and I guess he was not happy because it's not his song and not his thing. But
no, that was part of what he said.
But you don't like it when you get asked to sing certain things, right?
I don't like getting asked to do anything. Yeah. You know, I think I've done a few when it was necessary for me to find more money on account of a separation that was somewhat costly, I found myself doing a bit of corporate stuff, which I hadn't done ever really. So I've been doing performances at weddings and bar mitzvahs and so on, and other kinds of corporate events. Link to the agency for this stuff's in the description. It's not though. No. There isn't a link. I don't know how they find me, but you get these chances to do things, and then you're always obliged to sing other people's songs, which I find difficult, because when, like, for example, I often sing a Maria McKee song, the Show Me Heaven. I love singing that because it's right in the key where my voice roars. The high bits are comfortable for me, and the high mid bits are really on the edge, and it's fun, and it's challenging, and it's difficult, and it sounds all right when I get it right. It sounds good, and I think it sounds quite impressive, and I love the song. But then they'll say, but can you do some Queen numbers, or can you do this, that and the other? And I'm like, well, do I want the moment when I'm singing Queen songs to be at somebody's wedding, or do I want to do it with Queen at Wembley, or keep the powder dry, basically? So I try and be careful about the things that I'm asked to sing. When I did The Masked Singer, they had a list of songs, and I was like asking for, I said, can we have Wuthering Heights?
Yeah, why didn't they make you do that?
Well, they went and asked the Kate Bush people, and they were told, can't have it. So there was a bit of a, I was restricted by the things that they had the clearance to use in the show. And then I ended up with Creep by Radiohead, which I love singing. That One Body Portugal Man, which
Pumped Up Kicks. That's a difficult. Oh, no, it's not Pumped Up Kicks.
The one about feeling it still.
Yeah, Feel It Still. That's a hard song to sing.
Is it though?
I think most people can't really sing along to that song, because he's like up there.
You're singing, Jenny.
Yeah, but not in a real way.
Interesting.
There's a reason why. Because I don't.
You'll only sing in public.
I won't sing
with an affectation that makes it seem like you're not taking it seriously.
Yeah, and also I don't like surprise. I don't like the face of someone looking at me and then being like, "Oh,
that's what you sound like when you sing."
I hate that. And then I get trapped. So then people know that I don't like singing, and then the idea of singing would then pierce another thing, and then I'd be like, oh, now they're going to realise I've just sung it, now they're going to make a big deal out of it. I used to be like that when I'd fall when I was a kid. There's lots of kid stories.
I've fallen.
Yeah, because I used to fall. You know when you fall and everyone go, oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? And make a fuss. Yeah. I hated it.
Yeah, then you cry.
No, I used to run away.
And cry?
Yeah, but when no one was
around.
At
the end of the run?
Yeah, I'd run as far as I walk away from people as possible.
Until nobody could see your tears?
Yeah. So then I had a friend I told her this, I think it was only like 8 or 9. I was like, if I ever fall, just leave me alone. I don't want any attention. So one time I fell.
So you actually did.
I had the self-awareness even as a child.
that you were to one day fall.
Well, you're going to fall. You're a kid.
Everyone falls. Is that the same thing though? Because you're talking about because when you've hurt yourself and you fall like that and you're surrounded by your peers and you know you're going to cry.
Well, it's not the crying, it's just the attention. It's like vulnerability, I guess.
Because that's happened to me before as well. There was a thing, it was a really icy day in middle school. The only thing I can remember about middle school is some shithead little kid sticking pins in my arm to bully me. I remember which we might need to mute his name. Tripping over my friend Charlie Sarah's head hitting the radiator and fracturing his skull, then Carl Kennel not being at the school anymore. And I remember Daniel Crisp. I think his name was Daniel Wills Crisp or something like that.
Why do these people have the weirdest name? Who's Charlie Sarah? That's Charlie not a normal name.
He's got 2 first names. One of them's a girl's name. That's all right. What of it? It's 2022.
It wasn't. It was like 1980.
Well, it was back then. I mean, So I remember leaving a classroom, and I was in a long sort of queue of kids sort of shuffling out, and I saw the long pole that you have with a hook on the end of it to open the higher windows.
I love those poles.
Yeah, it's in a little bracket next to the blackboard. Yeah. And I saw it come loose from the bracket and slowly fall. And I just watched it because I was like half asleep, and I was always tired at school. I just, I don't know why, but I was just probably doing too many sports and being an active kid and not paying attention in class. And I was just like, I just watched it glide through the air and land on Daniel Wills Crisp's head. And I knew that at any point during during the journey of that sticky thing. I could have just intervened. I could have saved him. And he had like a proper egg lump on his head, and I just didn't have the heart to tell him that I'd seen it coming all the way. You know, he didn't cry. I think he was so shocked by it. He just wasn't really aware of what was happening, and of course he was unconscious shortly afterwards.
Was he embarrassed? I know he wasn't embarrassed because he's unconscious.
Well, it didn't really knock him out, but he was definitely like, what's the word? Concussed, I think, probably. Yeah. It was a bad one. But one time it was really icy, snowy, and we were doing this thing where you're running along and sliding along and then landing in a sort of drift. It was the year in the 80s when there was a huge amount of snow in East Anglia, and for some of that time we couldn't even get to school, but when we did, there was all this stuff to do. And I remember basically getting bundled by a load of shitty kids. I don't know who they were or anything. I got bundled and I was crushed and I was hurt and I was just laying there. And then my friend, I was fine. I was holding it together, and then my friend said, "Are you all right?" And I started crying. And it's always the same thing, isn't it? Like, are you all right? Yeah. Because then because I think that question is so broad, you end up bringing in every other aspect of your, you know.
It's like our "Are you happy?" question we hate asking.
I hate that question. Yeah.
You kept asking me that yesterday.
Because I know you love it. You love it. I hate it.
Yeah, that's because I'm happy to go into the...
Yeah, because when I ask it of you, I'm just checking in to see if you're all right.
I'm sometimes
when you
in.
ask me, you're like asking, you're definitely probing.
Not.
Yeah,
no, not always. Sometimes I'm just like, "Are you okay?" Because you look a little like sad or something's bothering you.
Just to reassure listeners at home, I am happy, thank you. The thing about happiness, I think that's another one of those broad questions where you pull in everything. Because it's like, I think at any point you can do an assessment of your happiness, and you have to pull in, how do you feel about all the things that were traumatic throughout your entire life? Are you comfortable with those? Comfortable enough to enjoy the good moments of today, you know? And it can get, you just end up sort of, I don't know, you're taking inventory of everything you've experienced, and it's triggered by one stupid little question.
I don't think I asked, "Are you happy?" I think I asked it in that joking video once where I was pretending to be a journalist.
Because that was actually, it's also a question that comes up in interviews when you've famously had a problem with drugs or substances or alcohol or anything like that, and you're still doing the same stuff. The question that always comes up is,
"Are you happy now?"
Yeah, are you happier is the thing, isn't it? They go,
or "Are you happy now?"
Are you happy now?
Yeah, as in like, are you happy now in your life? As opposed to...
I f***ing hate that question.
I know.
It's the worst question.
But when I ask, "Are you okay?" it's usually very of the moment.
Yeah, which I don't mind saying, "Are you okay?" Because usually that's an abbreviated question, because what you're really asking is, are you okay about the thing that might not make you okay?
You go to me, "What's wrong?"
No, I said to you, "Is anything okay?"
No. You're like, "What's wrong with you?"
What's wrong with you?
That's what you asked.
Okay, that's a different type of question, really. I think that question is, you could reframe that as, why are you behaving in this way?
That I don't like.
That I don't like, yes. Can you... Well, I'm not even asking you to stop, I just want you to explain it. Which I think is fair enough, really, isn't it? It's communication, right?
Yeah, that's probably the question I don't like, and you don't like, "Are you okay?" But we got better at answering them now.
Yeah. One of the things we did on the Patreon, link to the Patreon's in the description, by the way, was we did some media training, didn't we? And you were asking me probing questions that were, because I think I had... it
was about for the Masked Singer.
Right, so there was a press junket for the Masked Singer after I was unmasked or whatever, and I knew going into that there was going to be a load of shitty questions based on the fact that I hadn't really been in the public eye for a long time, and people would, the journalists assumed that people would be interested in what's been happening in the intervening years after I famously got sober, and then, The Darkness didn't really make any chart-bothering music, although we've had 8 or 9 albums over the course of our career. The first 2 are the only ones that are sort of widely known, I think.
Yeah.
So let's do one of those just to before we get into the anxiety, narcissism stuff. Ask one.
Do you have any regrets?
Well, the true answer is yes, too many to list here, and it's part of my personal journey. And why would I talk about those things to you, the journalist who cares not a jot about my life and has never reached out to me in the years since I was massively famous until now when I've just been on the telly?
Okay.
Is that a bit abrasive?
Yeah, you get a bit abrasive sometimes.
Yeah, I do get a bit prickly, but then f*** them. Those guys.
That's what I mean.
Well,
well, let's get back to your embarrassment.
yes, let's do that.
Do you ever feel embarrassed when you first started performing? The first time you got on stage?
Yeah, when I first went on stage, it was kind of like I was wearing glasses because I do need glasses, and I was wearing those, and I was using them as a mask to hide, and I was nervous. I was I wasn't, I was out back near the drum set. I was facing the audience, but I wasn't really connecting with them. And then it got to like second or third song, and I took my shirt off, and I was just going for it, And it was, it took me a couple of songs to get into it. And then the second gig, I can remember I was just a bit more on it. Third gig, no glasses, shirt off straight away, feet half over the edge of the thing. And we had more of an audience as well. Like we were growing in those first shows. And then we changed the way we did it. Like, so in that third gig, I remember we had a second guitar player who wasn't me. And he was doing a solo, but I reached around him and stole the solo. And at that point, I don't think anybody in the audience had realised that I play guitar. And then I just ripped a solo. And then it was like, okay, well, then it was just a matter of time before we ended up with just being a 4-piece. And then I would take on some of the guitar, like the lead guitar stuff. And then, so we had to rethink everything. And then I was trying to figure out how to be a performer with a guitar. Because my vision of a frontman is the bloke who runs around doing cool stuff and embarrassing stuff, and I always knew what a frontman was supposed to do, but I didn't know how to do that with a guitar, and I had to figure it out. It took me about a year, I think.
Do you think it's just practice, not being embarrassed?
Well, I think there's probably some exercises you can do, and like people often say, there's that one where people say, just imagine that the whole audience is naked.
I don't think that would make me less embarrassed.
It would just make you repulsed, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'd be I'd have to look away.
It'd be worse, wouldn't it?
If they said, just pretend there's no audience.
Well, that's even more depressing. You'd be embarrassed and depressed.
But no one's there, so how can you be embarrassed?
You'd be embarrassed on behalf of the promoter who was trying to fill the venue.
That's
I'm sorry.
very
I feel like I flyered, I put some posters up, and nobody showed up. I'm really embarrassed.
But there's actually people there. You're just pretending.
Oh, I see. Yeah, oh yeah, got it.
you pretended a bit too well.
Yeah, because, all right. Shall I tell you what I do?
Yeah.
I always had this idea in my brain that if it was going wrong, it was excruciating, and if I couldn't handle it anymore, I would just take all of my clothes off and stand there naked and cry.
Why?
Because in that situation, the only thing that matters is that people remember your performance.
Do you want them to remember you as the naked crying man?
If that's what it takes, yeah, I don't care.
So you just want to be remembered?
I think that's the most important thing about trying to do a show when you're coming up.
But not being any good?
I think that's secondary. And if if you're rehearsing and stuff, you think you're good anyway. You wouldn't go and do a show knowing that you're shit. You've got to have some confidence in what you're doing, haven't you?
Yeah, you've got confidence in it, but if it being memorable and not good,
because you can firmly believe that the songs you've written are the best songs in the whole world, and you can still have performance anxiety because it's the act of singing them or doing it or worried. What you're actually worried, I think, in like the band situation, what you're really worried about is how the audience will react and how you'll react to them not liking it.
What about people making mistakes, like hitting bum notes and forgetting parts of the riffs and stuff?
Well, of course, bum notes is not an issue for me. Well, and also I think that the wrong note played with enough confidence is the right note.
Yeah, but let's say someone's playing and that they've completely lost their way. And the other way, it's every note's a bum note then after that.
Well, I've been there as well. Not with me, but with another member of a band that I was in once. That's happened. You know, it happens.
Were they embarrassed?
Yeah. Not as embarrassed as they should have been. You know.
Do you think?
No, but here's another thing though, because I don't think that's the thing. I don't think you're worried about making mistakes. Like I've played whole passages because I was a synthesizer player in a band, and one of the things required that I transposed the whole keyboard, like I think it was a semitone down, so I could do this complicated arpeggio part. And then the arpeggio part started, and then the guitar came in, but I hadn't transposed it, so I was like a semitone out, and it was really obvious that it was me. I was like, "Oh fuck, quick!" And then you do that. And that was really hard because I was embarrassed about that because there was hardly anybody there. You know, if there's a load of people there, you can style it out, and everyone's rooting for you. A load of disinterested people waiting for you to f it up. That's when it's difficult, and that's when it's embarrassing, I think, as well.
Do you think the embarrassment is this like a mask to try and stay in control, but actually it's a hindrance?
I think that kind of embarrassment is when you know that you're not the real deal. I'm not like Rick Wakeman on the synthesizer. I was basically helping a band out, you know, and I could muddle through, and I know a lot about sounds and how to edit synthesizers and patches, and I know I'm a massive synthesizer enthusiast, and I can program, but my playing isn't that good, and I knew it. And then when I f up, it's like, oh shit! Now they know I'm shit. You know? So
if you're just confident in what you do,
I think if I was playing guitar and I was a semitone out, that just wouldn't happen because I'd know.
But you don't have to transpose your guitar. You just move your hand.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
But
yeah. Okay. So, but that's a different kind of embarrassment. That's an embarrassment when your true inadequacy is exposed. But I'm saying that performance anxiety can affect you even when you know you're great.
Yeah, because is it because you're scared you're going to mess up, or because you're not going to make an impact? Because I think it's
something about the ceremony and the pageantry of a concert that affects you. Like it's the occasion and the significance of it.
Because it's like if someone falls over on stage, some people get embarrassed and they'll be angry and they'll probably walk off.
I've done it. But I've done it before. I've fallen on stage and I've fallen badly, and I've just broken a finger or something's gone wrong badly like that, and I couldn't play for the rest of the gig. But I still stuck around and did it. You know. But
like with guitar, I can't play guitar in front of people either. You've seen me with a guitar. I freeze when you play something on me because I'm scared I'm going to hit the wrong note.
Yeah, but look what happens when you hit the wrong note.
Yeah, but I play guitar on my own and hit it. No, don't do it. No, don't give me the guitar.
Be careful with it.
What?
Be careful with it. Don't hit the wrong note.
Because I had like a guitar teacher that did help me do solos and stuff.
Oh, cool. I want to hear a solo.
And that's all I played on guitar. I was terrible at everything else. I was just a solo person. Because he used to be like, teach me. And then I liked playing with him. But if you put another person next to me, I was like... Because I thought every single note I had to hit would be the correct. Then I see you playing, and you're hitting loads of bad notes all the time. You're just flying around.
Bad notes? Or
well, you know what I mean? Like I saw you.
Yeah, well, look, I'm...
But that's normal.
I'm experimenting with a sort of jazz vibe at the moment.
No, but I see loads of people, they're fine with it. Like guys are jamming and they're always hitting the wrong thing.
Which, I mean, yeah, okay, there's been moments when I've hit bad notes. There's definitely been. And then, what I love doing is like when I hit a bad note and I just look over at my guitar tech, Ian Softlad Norfolk, and then he just sort of looks up into the rafters.
But you know, like musicians get together and they jam. Then they hit bad notes. It's just, you don't even notice it because everyone's doing it. They're not hitting bad notes, they're just finding things along the... I can't do that.
Are you sure it's me that's hitting the bad notes, or is it Dan? Kind of like
it's not when the Darkness are playing live.
You mean when I'm just playing...
When you're noodling around.
Oh yeah, because I'm noodling around, I'm finding stuff.
Yeah, but I can't even noodle around because I'm in front of someone because I'm scared.
Yeah. That's crippling, isn't it? That sort of anxiety.
Yeah, but I think it's because you have to be around people more. Because I know a lot of musicians, and I'm looking at them and like, how are you okay with that?
When am I noodling around then? Just like
you're always
in the house?
noodling.
Well, yeah, because it's irresistible, isn't it? When there's a guitar sitting there, you've got to play it.
But I just find that impressive. If someone puts a guitar in front of me, I'm like, do I have to just play a perfect?
I mean, I see people like going for bar chords, and they sort of realise they're on the wrong one, and they
that's what I mean. Just that.
It's just like finding your way around. I mean, every guitar is different as well. Like if you understand the sort of architecture of your guitar, you know where all the squeaky bits are, and you can find your way around stuff. And as soon as you put a different one on, it can be the same model and the same type and everything. It's different, and it feels different, and the way to get around it is different. But that's a lot of those guys who are just supernatural, and then not supernatural, but supernatural, 2 words. And it feels like everything they do is just an extension of them, and it's never wrong. They're usually the guys that only play one guitar, like the really, really beaten up Strat guys, like your Stevie Ray Vaughans or your Rory Gallaghers and people like that.
But you make
it was really funny. I was watching my daughter play, and she's getting into synthesizers. She really, she's not playing it on a daily basis, but she was trying to learn Twinkle Twinkle Little Star at first. I marked the C so she knew where to start. She kept starting on B or D, and it wasn't working when she went to the white keys and came down. So I anchored her there, and she was going da, 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 da. And I was like, yes, and I was leaning in going, yes, she's going to do it. And then by that point I was right over her shoulder, and she exclaimed, ah, and then put her hands up and poked me in the eye. So I was just like, I had a finger in my eye, and that last note ringing in my ears. It was a beautiful moment.
But it's that annoying feeling, isn't it, of hitting it? I'm actually not so bad when I was on the piano, because I didn't care if I was good at bit piano. Like if you put me on a piano, I'm hitting loads of bum notes, don't care. But if you put a guitar on me, and
I like playing piano because it's sort of it's totally unfamiliar to me, and I will hit a bum note, so it's nice to write like that. And the thing about the piano is when you hit a bum note, just leave your hand there for a minute, sit with the bum note, and then you understand why it's wrong. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if you hit a bum note and it just happens to make a pleasing chord, just look at where your fingers are and try and remember what those notes mean. And then I usually sort of change that. I try and make a chord on the guitar that has those wrong notes in.
But you can still play piano quite well.
I mean, it's not my first instrument though, so I'll always make terrible errors. I was thinking about like the fluidity of a blues guitarist, and I always think about John Mayer, because having covered his stuff recently, the way he's really expressive, and he's found the key, and he if he played a bum note, it would be really obvious. So he's quite exposed, and I mean so all of his playing comes from like the dynamics and the expression in the little things that he does. So all of his licks sound really tasty. But if you apply the same sort of delicate kind of trueness and like this, and then you hit the bum note, it would be f***ing horrible, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So in a way, like even though he's not doing complicated stuff, it's much more dangerous.
It's like singing his guitar playing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's like a second voice, isn't it?
But also he's good at I like looking at guitar players like that because they pause. I used to be scared of pausing. I was so scared of everything. But they pause. They're not rushing to find it. They're not like going when they're soloing to find the next lick. They're like, I'm going to just pause here and look at the crossroads, and then I'm going to go over here and there.
Yeah.
And they're not scared of it.
Yeah, because it's as much about what they don't play as what they do play when they get it right. And he's one of the greats actually for that sort of thing. The other thing I was thinking about was like how anchored a lot of blues stuff is in actual sort of the pentatonic scales and the things that you more or less the first things you learn if you're trying to be a lead guitar player, and then the differing approach between that and like what Brian May does. And Brian May is still operating in with those notes, but he's doing stuff that's written. It's not free like that. I mean, he can definitely jam. I've seen him do it, you know.
I mean, he planned it out before.
Yeah, but I think it's written stuff. So, but it's in the same. It has the same vocabulary, but it's just completely studiously. You know, the sort of lines that he's playing and the licks that he's using that are designed to. And designed to sort of pick out melodies within the chords, and I always think that's because he was working with Freddie Mercury, and he needed to be more sophisticated. But it's still basically blues guitaring, you know, yeah. In a lot of cases, anyway.
Do you ever get embarrassed of repeating yourself on guitar?
No. What do you mean, like having like a phrase that you rely on all the time?
Yeah, that you can't stop doing.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's an original one, like because Softy he showed me something. He played a lick, and it was one of mine, and it was one that I'd actually come up with in the studio, and I've been putting it in a lot of solos since, and I haven't heard anybody else ever do it apart from Softy, and I found it amazing that he'd actually studied my playing to the extent where he can do that, and he does it in like sound check, and it's like, that just sounds like me, you know. He's just gifted. But I'll show you the thing I'm talking about. It's like, you know, everyone does these kind of like the everyone's got these all those kinds of licks, but I've got one. So there's these 4 increments here of a semitone apart, and I stick it in blues stuff, and it sounds like a spider falling down the stairs. I haven't heard anybody else do it apart from Softy. So that's one of mine. That's the kind of stuff I write. Go on.
But that's what I mean. It's hard to. If someone's like, "I was just doing that thing again."
What?
Do you ever feel that?
Oh, I don't know, because if you go and see Van Halen in the 80s, and then Eddie Van Halen isn't doing those sort of hammered arpeggios and all that kind of stuff that he invented, you'd be disappointed, wouldn't you?
What about the stuff you do on stage that you do at every show, but slightly different?
What do you mean?
Like your upside down thing. And
the upside down thing? What's that?
In your head. Do you ever feel like you need to constantly mix it up?
No, I feel like those are... I mean, I basically jam throughout the gig. There's a few set pieces that I think I would be disappointed if I came off stage having not done it. I can't even begin to imagine what the front row would feel like. You know, there are obligations and talking points and bits that we like to hit, and then everything in between isn't choreographed in the traditional sense. Whereas I've seen bands that are choreographed, and everything they do is the same every night.
Yeah, some fans don't like that.
I think if you're a cult band, like we're a cult band really, aren't we? Because we've just got like an audience that isn't growing. We're not making hit albums, or we haven't been, and it's like we can always sell a tour, a good tour, and the people that come often come to more than one show. Some of them come to all of the shows, and you've got to keep it interesting for those guys, and for us. Earlier, off camera, we were talking about the connection between that kind of embarrassment and
narcissism.
And what's the connection?
Embarrassment is a very specific feeling, isn't it? It's not like sad, happy, or anything. It's like...
Is it a feeling, though?
Like people's cheeks go red when they get embarrassed. Like this swell of heat comes up, this energy just swells within you.
I don't think it happens to me in music, but there was one time when I experienced that, and it was because I was on holiday in Cyprus, I think, and there was a guy who was I was going to the gym and trying to get fit at the time, and then so the gym guy was like talking to me all the time, and he didn't look very fit, and he kept saying, "Oh yeah, well, you know, it was off season, off peak. Yeah, I'd really go for it, and then so I'm fit for the summer. But at the moment, I'm sort of in between, seasons." And then, and he was talking to me all the time, and I was kind of just a bit annoyed by him. So I had to get past him to get to the tennis courts, past the gym to get to the tennis courts, and I tried to sneak around the back of the gym, and I went like round all these bushes, and I was sort of like trying to sidle my way through so I wouldn't have to see him. And then he came out and he went, "Hey, how you doing?" I went, "Oh, there you are." "Oh, there you are." And I was like, Oh God.
Did your face feel hot?
Yeah, I was really like, and then I was trying to style it out, and he could see I was embarrassed, and he must have realised that I was hiding from him, and then got caught.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
In the bushes.
But that's what people feel. That's what I felt like when you said to harmonise.
Yeah, well, no, what I did was I got caught trying to hide from somebody, and that was like, oh shit. Now there was no dignity in what I was doing. I'm supposed to be on holiday. Why am I hiding from somebody? You know, that's not relaxing. But your one is just like, you don't want me to listen to you sing.
Well, if I knew what came out of my mouth was good, I would.
So there's a pride element to it.
It's the narcissistic side.
But why is it narcissistic? What does that mean?
Because you're so self-obsessed with maintaining your identity and how people perceive you that you won't do something that's very meaningless. Like, I don't think it's the narcissism, like the narcissistic personality disorder, because I think that's becoming a bit of a
colloquialism
trend. And, you know, at the moment, like, oh, they're such a narcissist.
Yeah, people are saying that, and they're just, yeah, it's like when people say OCD.
Yeah, but some people have narcissistic personality disorder.
And some people have OCD.
Yeah. But I think a version of narcissism is like, Russell often used to say that shyness was narcissistic. Because you're going into a room and you're so self-obsessed with how people think about you. You're not thinking about anyone else, you know.
But most people think that narcissism manifests itself in the kind of behaviour that I do.
Manipulation.
Well, no. Well, I manipulate the notes of the guitar, of course, and my voice to enable the singing to come out.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, like, most people think that when narcissism manifests itself, it's in like arrogance and, you know, the different kind of self-centeredness that isn't shy. I was surprised when he said about shyness.
He says it about shyness. I don't know if he has an issue with shy people or not, because I'm quite shy in certain situations because I'm so worried about what other people think. But who cares? Why am I so self-obsessed that I care about maintaining dignity or whatever?
There must be some trauma somewhere then, mustn't there?
I don't know. Because in my mind, I think I have a lot of energy, and I think I am very loud and playful in my mind, and then I'm stopped by embarrassment. Because I'm actually kind of okay at guitar, but I don't play it because I don't think I'm good enough. Maybe it's never thinking good enough.
Well, that's the kind of embarrassment I was talking about with the synthesizer.
Yeah. So if you have enough self-esteem, self-love, you don't feel embarrassment. You're like immune to it.
Right.
That's it.
So it's not the same thing as confidence then?
I don't know. I don't know what the difference is between... I don't know what confidence is, really.
I always think that the times when I feel like I can't actually do the thing I'm trying to do, it's never music. It's always anything else to do with this existence. You know, like I don't find it easy to walk when there's an audience. Yeah. This is one of the things that I think I hate it when a video director says, yeah, so if you guys walk from here to here, and then I'll film it. I just fucking forget how to walk.
I don't like it too, because people tell me I walk like a robot.
Well, you don't have to do this with your hands.
I'm not doing that.
There's other options, isn't it?
I think I walk very... And then I'm self-conscious about it too. Mm. What you do, how much do you bend your knees? How much do you move your arms?
You're like RoboCop.
No. So you're embarrassed when you feel like you're not going to perform adequately because you're not an expert in it.
You know, if somebody asks you to do something that's perfectly natural, I think singing is perfectly natural. It's a joyous exclamation. We all do it. We're all doing it in the shower. We're all doing it along to our favourite songs. We do it in our head, in our cars, and everywhere we go. And then when someone asks you to do something that's completely second nature, like singing or walking, it takes a minute to adjust to doing it with an audience. So it's the audience is the only thing that creates embarrassment, isn't it? You're never embarrassed about the things you do when you're on your own, right? Yeah. It's that simple.
It's like me singing off for Dan, but when I'm at home, I don't sing like that. But I think he really believed that was my voice. Because I wasn't saying, oh, I'm doing this deliberately.
Can you please give me an example of that?
No, because now it's going to be a deliberate thing. I can't do anything that's... No, I can't.
Come on, let's do it.
No, you need to play... No, I can't. No, because it's... No, I can't. I can't. I can't do... I can't perform.
Harmonise with me.
I can't perform. I told you. It makes me feel sick inside.
Well, I like lots of animals.
No, because I don't know what's going to come out.
Because they're often furry and they're nice. Come on. But my favourites, they must be goats. But it was hard to choose between them and mice. Yeah. So if you did like a... Well, I like lots of animals.
I like that you think that my voice is up there. Have you heard my
do
speaking
under
voice?
then, Dan.
No, I can't. It's too embarrassing.
Well, I like lots of animals. Come on, Jenny. Because they're often furry and they're nice.
It feels like someone's put like a padlock here inside of my throat.
Mm.
And also, if we weren't friends, I'd probably sing. Like if I didn't know you.
If we weren't friends.
If I didn't know you.
All right.
Because I wouldn't care what you thought.
Okay, Jenny, I hate you. We're not friends anymore. Let's go. No more friendship for us.
No, it's not going to work.
Well, I like lots of animals. Come on, Jenny. Because they're often furry and they're nice. Huh? So I'm singing really badly. You could just steam in there and steal it, but I'm giving you...
Because I'm not used to it. One person's heard me sing.
And then and they haven't been seen. What?
Yeah.
What? James?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he asked me to send a voice note of me singing.
And you just did it?
Oh, yeah, but I can't remember why I did it. I think it was some joke thing, and you look really offended right now.
I mean, he asks me to do stuff like that, and I always do it, but it's kind of... I never thought for a moment that he was also asking you. But it's so weird, isn't it? Anyway, lovely stuff.
Why you look offended now?
I'm going to text James and ask him to forward the...
You better not, James, if you do that.
Do you reckon that embarrassment is the same thing, like... It doesn't affect you when you're playing sports, does it?
No, but I remember the day that my football career ended. Because I made 2 bad passes.
Let me guess, you shit yourself and then you're too embarrassed.
No, I'm not you.
I didn't. When Jenny's talking about shitting myself, I'd never do that by accident. I have complete control of the bowels. But occasionally, I will threaten to shit myself if, for example, somebody's asking me for their clothes back. It's because I did a thing for the BBC once, and they were saying that like Mark E. Smith from The Fall was doing some kind of profile filming thing for the Beeb, and they gave him lent him a suit, and they're asking for him to give the suit back at the end of the shoot, and he said, if you take this suit from me, if you try and take this suit away from me, I will do a shit in it. That's what they told me, yeah. And then from that day forward, I've just been like, okay, that's how I get clothes now. I just threaten to shit in the things and then keep them.
Well, I didn't do that when I was playing football.
Okay, so
I made 2 bad passes, which is quite bad.
You gave the ball away in a dangerous area. That's what happened.
Yeah, but I was also taking a risk, so you have to take risks in sport too. So, and then if that risk factor goes away, you lose your spontaneity and your ability to be a good player.
It sounds to me like you're a bit like me. I'm like one of those mavericks, and I'll make the decision that you're not supposed to, and it will unlock something. You know, that's how you create chances, but it's also how you
buck up.
Yeah, give the ball away in a dangerous area.
Yeah, so he took me off, and it was a coach that didn't particularly like me, and he didn't help me really it was for Dublin, I was playing for Dublin.
Yeah.
And he took me off, and then he never put me back on again for like the rest of the season.
That's on him.
And where the coaches prior that scouted me, they gave me loads of opportunities. They put me on in the All-Ireland final, and it was my first year on the team, to replace the midfield, the captain, because we were losing. I was like, why they even talked to me before the game. They're like, if everything goes wrong, we're going to put you on. I was like, that's a big thing.
Yeah,
this guy took me off and didn't let me take chances.
But were you? I mean, obviously, you're
played,
embarrassed when you do a bad pass, and then when the consequences are that the manager doesn't have any faith in you because he's a conservative manager who doesn't, he's trying to grind out results using malleable sports individuals that are going to do exactly what he says. So it's more of a tactical. He's a tactical manager. It's like those. This, when England's like struggling to unlock a team and you're watching it and you think, oh fuck, so this is really boring. You don't care that they've got a high pass completion rate. You don't care that they've had possession for the whole game. What you want to see is somebody doing something creative, and half the time they're going to fuck it up.
Yeah. And
then the rest of the time it's really exciting. So you get those more creative players, and then suddenly you've got a game on, and you have chances and. But when a player like that gives the ball away or misses a penalty, there's no shame in that.
Yeah, well, he took me out, and then it put doubt in my mind. Well, that might have something to do with embarrassment. So then I doubted every decision I was going to make. So then I hesitated.
So you probably spent a little bit more time selecting your pass and then getting dispossessed before you even had a chance to express yourself.
Yeah, and just being a shitty normal player.
So I think we can all agree that embarrassment is a bad thing.
Yeah, because you should just do. Embarrassment is a bad thing. I don't think it's a good trait at all.
I mean, I like embarrassing people around me. I used to enjoy embarrassing Ed quite a lot.
Oh yeah, I don't like people who try and embarrass me. If you try to embarrass me,
I've been trying for this whole thing.
Maybe I don't have as much. Maybe I don't have this embarrassment levels because I was the clown as a kid as well.
Yeah, me too.
But when it came to music, because I cared about it. That's why I won't sing, because I'm doubting myself.
Are you implying that because I don't care about my music?
No, but like with football, I cared a lot more about football more than anything. But that was my thing. Music was like my side thing.
I think the other thing is maybe you have to sort of walk a fine line with football, don't you? Because you need to be
team player.
Yeah, team player, and there's very dire consequences for cocking stuff up. Whereas a bum note, that's not a diet. That's actually at the worst, it's funny.
Sport is ultimately entertainment.
No, I'm sorry. There's more to it than that.
All these guys that go to all the England games, they're just like all the girls going to Harry Styles gigs.
For exactly the same reason.
Well, they're all chanting away, singing their songs.
Looking at the men with their tight shirts and shorts on.
Yeah, there's just 11 Harry Styles on the pitch rather than one.
Yeah, there are. That's true. All with different sized heads and stuff. There's something for everybody, actually. When you look at a good football team that's well assembled will represent the tastes of everyone in the crowd. Yeah. That's why there's so much testosterone flying around. I mean, in some instances, literally flying around.
Yeah.
They just love it, don't they?
Yeah. It's very tribal.
And
it's entertainment, because it actually doesn't mean anything.
Hello.
You just get to go, yeah, because it's the same. Yeah, someone wins and someone loses, but that's not the main bulk of...
It's exactly... I completely agree with you. It's the taking part that matters.
Yeah, and then the devastation if you lose.
I love that feeling, though. I was in a football team called Newhouse, and we were all going to get NHTIFD, which is Newhouse till I fucking die. And we were a team that would either win emphatically, draw disappointingly, or get absolutely battered, and lose heavily. But we always loved it. We just loved it because it was camaraderie, and I would much rather play for a team that's inconsistent and full of people that I love than for a team that's full of brilliant footballers and always winning and sort of struggling to stay in the team. It was some of the best times of my life. It really was.
Yeah, that's why those county teams are strange.
Yeah,
I didn't really fit in because I was the only new person. I didn't really fit on any of my football teams, but I was the main person on my club.
Well, that's why not fitting in is a good thing anyway, because it allows you to be the maverick.
But I used to sing when I was playing football. I used to run down the pitch singing.
I'm gonna score a goal.
No, it was the Smiths usually. This charming man.
Punctured bicycle on a hill. Goal.
Yeah, I'd always have the songs in my head whenever I was in that flow, and I'd always be humming or singing.
So if I gave you a football now, you might actually do a bit of singing for us.
Just sing some Morrissey while I'm running. But that's what I mean. Like, I wasn't embarrassed. Because I felt like I was the best, basically.
Yeah.
Or like unstoppable. Even if I
So
didn't.
why were you singing the Smiths then? Was that like a soundtrack to your football brilliance, or did you imagine yourself in a movie where that was kind of like...
This charming man little hook is very... It's still in my head. It's been replaced by Aha, you might have noticed. Recently, unfortunately.
Which one? Hunting High and Low?
No, Take On Me.
Oh, so that's as you've transitioned as a more mature athlete into a defensive position. You're challenging your opponent to try and get past you with the ball. Is that
Well,
what
I
it is?
don't have any football opponents, but if we decided to play football, that would probably be... You'd hear it coming out of me, either humming.
Do you know what when I play football now, what's going through my head?
Goth music.
Yeah, that's weird. Lucretia, my reflection.
That sort of music is great.
Shoulder bars. Go! I hear the roar of the big machine. Sorry.
But what happens when male vanity's pricked? What's that feeling?
It's I love anything to do with like one of my favorite things to think about is hair flying back, like wigs falling off. You know, whenever I hear stories about people sort of falling over on stage and then getting back up and having to adjust their wig, that's the stuff I love.
So would you get embarrassed if like something happened to your hair on stage?
I think I would probably find it. I think I would probably find it funny unless it was fire and it was hurty.
What about when people were picking on your teeth?
That wasn't embarrassment. That was pure. Who the f*** do you think you are talking about my teeth? You know, listen to my music. Talk about my fucking music. And it was always like every time they covered us, it was like they used my teeth as a stick to beat us with, and it was kind of like
That's weird.
Huh?
That's weird.
It's not weird for UK press. I mean, even the ones that liked us were talking about how ugly I was because of my teeth. They were. And the thing about my teeth is that's something that I wasn't able to do anything about when I was a kid, before I had any sort of visions of becoming a singer. I never even wanted to be a singer until I started doing it when I was about 25 when I started. And before then I was a guitar player. And who cares what a guitar player's teeth looks like?
No one cares about the guitar player.
Unless you're in... I mean, they would have cared about me because I would have been, you know, if I'd have spent
You would have
the
been
time...
in the front centre and the singer would have been at the
I would have made
side.
people care about me. I would have been there kind of going like, get the f*** out of my... Just listen to this, and then I probably would have developed into somebody that probably would have changed guitaring forever. Just kidding. No, but I would have probably developed more because I'd just be doing it all the time, and, you know, I would. I mean, I'm pretty stunted in what I can do on the guitar, and I'm happy.
But they
with
wouldn't
that.
have cared about your teeth as much.
They wouldn't, no. But, you know, but when I was a kid, I wanted to have my teeth straightened. I had bad teeth. I knew it. I kept having teeth removed because I would have had more or less 2 different rows of teeth.
Like Freddie Mercury.
I had way too many. A bit like Freddie Mercury, I suppose. But, you know, so I had 8 teeth removed over the course of 2 years.
But you don't look like you don't have any
I
teeth
know.
missing.
I got loads of teeth. I still got the full set, but it's like I would have had a lot more. And then and that's not including wisdom teeth as well. They came out too. So
You're so toothy.
yeah, but I would have been like Jaws kind of thing with just way too many teeth.
But what, did they pick on your appearance in any other way?
What, in the press?
Yeah.
I can't remember really. It was mostly my teeth, I think.
Did you ever feel self-conscious then?
I didn't smile much back then. Or I did, but I didn't like seeing it, so I gradually stopped smiling. I probably smiled a lot as a kid, and then as a young adult, and then when I started getting famous, I probably stopped smiling. I think that the act of smiling makes you happy, even if you,
Yeah, it's better.
you know, actually must trigger something because you definitely feel better. So I, as soon as I had a chance to change my teeth, I did it. And now they don't talk about how bad my teeth are anymore. They don't talk about me at all, actually, but as a side benefit, you know.
And what about people who say things are cringy? Because they would have said that about
Cringy!
about the darkness, maybe.
Yeah, they definitely did. Yeah, things that I do is cringy.
So do you think people use embarrassment as a way to put something down and get rid of it?
Well, what's cringy then? What would be defined as... What would you define as cringy about what I do?
Like you're in a catsuit jumping about and you're a grown man.
I'm cringing on the inside. Now you said that.
Like you're in skin tight and people can kind of see your genitalia.
Hey.
Your nipples are out.
Yeah, that's just nipples. Whoa.
I don't find it cringy. The first time I saw your band.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's cringy. Cringy is like people who cringe.
You know that thing where people cringe, like, oh, I can't believe they're doing that's so lame.
Lame.
You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's a way of disarming someone, and it's the worst way of putting someone down, isn't it? Like if someone thinks they've put a nice jumper on, and
Well,
someone
what they're saying is, I'm embarrassed by you enjoying yourself. That's the message that they're giving you, isn't it?
Yeah, basically. It's never usually about something malicious that people go, that's cringy.
Yeah,
it's so
that's
malicious.
Right. It's never anything serious, is it?
Or like girls who love wearing pink or something.
Yeah.
Which, you know, they're like, oh, it's so cringe. They often condemn, like, teenage girls' taste is always told to be, you know, the way an insult is like, they just got listened to by loads of teenage girls. I'm like, oh, what's wrong with that? They're people. Why is everything they like considered the lowest form of taste and cringy? They're not stupid.
Well, you think those are the real victims of cringe is the teenage girls?
Yeah, I think so. If someone goes to you, why you listen to that? That's what teenage girls listen to.
But is that a way of... who says that about... I mean, it's grown-ass people say, oh, it's music for teenage girls.
Yeah, they said it for the 1975 video.
Ah.
They're like, oh, this is just what a load of teenage girls listen to.
Well, they listen to it because as they're experiencing their sexual awakening, they're looking at an unbelievable performer doing something that's really special.
And it's also like music, and they are listening to the music.
Yeah.
They're not just standing looking.
I think if my daughter gets into the 75, I'll be well happy.
Yeah, it's interesting, but that girl stuff is always cringy. And I had internal misogyny against being a girl. I didn't like people thinking I was just doing what every other girl did, because...
That comes from an interesting place because, you know, I have... you know, embarrassment about toxic masculinity, but that's coming from shameful behaviours. But you shouldn't be ashamed of listening to Kylie Minogue or whatever it is you did when you were a teenage girl. Yeah. Well, but you probably weren't listening to that, though, were you?
No, I was like trying to figure out. I got into I did. The first time I got into rock was because this girl who was 4 years older than me, I was 10 or 9, she was 12 or 13. She's like, you should listen to Linkin Park because it's rock music. And I was like, I think you're amazing, so I will now be into rock music. And then I listened to that, and then it just, just tried to find, I know they're not rock, they're like new metal then, but I was only 10, okay? This girl had horses, she had her own horses, and she used to just rock out. I thought that was so cool that she had horses and liked rock music. But that's what cringe is, girls. Girl stuff is always considered, like when people go, oh, you're not like other girls. Like, well, what's wrong with the other ones?
I want to be like the other ones.
Like,
I'm just trying to fit in.
Why is it a compliment to say you're not like other girls?
Well, it's a compliment if you say I'm not like other guys. If you said that.
Because you're associating it with toxic masculinity.
I do, yeah.
Well, what is it when you say you're not like other girls to a girl? Like if you said that to me.
Because you're more like a bloke. More like a toxic male. And you don't even like women, so you know.
I like women.
You do.
If there's any nice women out there.
Oh, sorry, just to clarify, Jenny is an enormous enthusiast of the female form, but she can't stand their personalities.
No!
I'm just kidding. Anyway, we've done an hour, so should we...
we went a bit off topic.
Should we knock it on the head? It seems like we might have meandered down some... tributaries that weren't apt.
So he wrapped up embarrassment, though. You can't just end like that.
Well, maybe we'll come back to it sometime.
How do we get rid of embarrassment? How do I get rid of my embarrassment?
I think by taking the guitar and you do the outro.
Why is it always so drastic?
Because I think it's something that you need to address head on. Otherwise, it's going to continue to consume you and spoil your life. The way I dealt with my embarrassment is to get up on stage with a band and sing for the first time. And I think the time has come for you to address yours.
But what if the people you're singing to were like your best friends from school in the front row?
F*** them. Who cares? Who cares who they are?
I don't know.
If it's people that you've known for a long time, f*** them even more. Come on.
No, I can't.
Just sing it.
No!
Just, you can get up there, can't you?
No, I've got really low voice.
Go there. Do it all husky and seductive. Go on, come on.
I can.
It'll be a lovely conclusion to this episode to help you beat this. Come on. Justin Hawkins, right? Can you do it?
I actually feel like I'm going to throw up if I let any air out of my mouth.
That'll actually be an even better conclusion to this. Come on, get on with it.
I can't. You don't understand. I can't do it.
Make me understand.
Why don't you understand?
I understand. I've experienced embarrassment and I've defeated it. Just the first note.
I feel like my face is burning.
Yeah. It will.
Why?
Until you do this.
No.
Justin Hawkins. Right, sir.
You've gone really low. I wish I could do it, but I can't. I'll be stuck here all day.
Please.
I can't. I can't say a note.
Please.
How do I do it?
No. Sing that.
I'm so embarrassed.
Justin.
I'd have to like go into a different room.
Jenny Mayfin, right?
And like record it, and then you'd have to listen to it. So you'd have
Jenny Mayfin. Come on.
I can't do it.
Jenny Mayfin. Do the like, subscribe stuff then.
Like and subscribe.
Wait. Justin Hawkins writes again.
Please like and subscribe and hit the bell. And watch those 2 videos over there.
Nice one, guys.
John's a victory.
Thanks so much for watching that. I really appreciate that you got to the end of this episode. Please feel free to continue the discussion in the comments section below. I'd love to know if you suffer from performance anxiety, and if so, how you get over it, or if embarrassment is something that hinders you as an artist. And don't forget, next week I'll be interviewing the frontman of Steel Panther, Michael Starr. It's been brilliant. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. See you on the ice. Okay.